We are joined today by 2021 Hall of Fame inductee and Southeastern's first 1,000-yard rusher, Lavon Hicks.
Was you had hinted that the coaches that had affected you and kind of steered you into coaching and it shaped your coaching career. And so I wanted to talk a little bit at first about you getting into, you coming to Southeastern and being a two-sport athlete, because, and I feel like that was a little more common back then, but you were successful with it.
Well, I was successful in high school, and I know you're talking about track,
right,
and football, and I was a 4-time state champion in track on my senior year and my junior and senior year in track. In fact, I figure I still hold the state record in a couple of things. That's getting pretty old.
Well, because you were an all-conference honoree in football, you were our first 1,000-yard rusher, and your 1,000-yard season is still in the top 10 here.
Yes. Well,
go ahead.
If you go back to the OIC, I think I'm still number 7. If you look at the OIC, Oklahoma Indian College, yeah, and because Ada, I had kids at Anadarko went to Ada, and they'd come in and tell me, "Coach, your name's up there on the board." So, being old as I was, I couldn't believe it. But.
Well, you've still got you're still third on the Southeastern all-time list in rushing, and the kind of crazy thing when you look at the book is it was over 20 years before anybody else broke the 1,000-yard barrier.
Well, yeah. I tell you what, I was blessed. Val Renault, and he was a college coach that I taught a lot of down there. And Richard Rutherford, he was more than just a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then Duke Christian, who really allowed me to do what I like to do, and that's run football. They give me football, sometimes 30 times a game more sometimes. So that's a lot of carries for one game.
Oh, yeah, it is.
They let me do that a lot. And it was, it was tough go. I mean, we weren't racking in big yards every time, but, I think I had one of the first 200-yard rushing games too at Southeastern.
Well, you hinted a little bit there, and I know we'd wanted to talk about this, but you were hinting at some of the coaches that had an effect on you while you were here. Are they a part of the reason you came here?
No, because I did not know. Coach Christian knew me from OSU. See, I played on OSU freshman team and started up there. And I came, that was when Floyd Guest took over the coaching. And then all my class, which we went 9-1 in the freshman season, and OU beat us for one touchdown. And he knew of me up there, and I needed to be, my folks weren't rich or nothing like that. So they put me full scholarship at the midterm, which Central State was going to do it at the end of the year, but they wouldn't do it at the midterm. But Southeastern did, and that's one of the reasons I came. And I'm sure Coach Christian had a lot to do with it. He just never said a whole lot. He's a great guy.
Well, but leading into whenever you got here, those coaches definitely became a big influence on you.
Coaches, you really don't know what coaches do until it's over with, and then you start realizing, me being sick with cancer, I guess I've had I guess 200 of my kids call me.
You just don't realize the effect you have.
Right. You just don't know. And you might not think you do, but you really do.
Well, so along those lines, the coaches here, Coach Rutherford, Coach
Christian, his head
Christian,
coach.
Right.
And
those guys, how did they shape you? Because the next step in your career was to turn your success on the field into success on the sidelines as a coach yourself.
Well, and that had to do with a lot of. I went to Marietta, and which that's where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
And when I played at Marietta, we won the state championship. And then when I went back there and coached, we won the state championship. And being from Marietta, knowing the tradition and the coaches like Coach Bob McLean and G.C. Willis and Blake Smalley, I just kind of stepped right into it because it wasn't. I knew the rivalries that Marietta had and everything else. And it took us a few years to get going, but
mm-hmm.
that's part of it. And you just when you go out to coach, you try to do the best you can. That's the way And we really at Marietta, we were really one of the first one-back offenses in 1987 that there was. There wasn't even they didn't even think about a one-back offense then. But
I imagine there are a lot of people out there running the wishbone and anything triple option.
Yeah, but we didn't. We had the one. I just felt like you could throw the football. If you can throw the football, you can run the football. And it takes you can't hardly go just one way either way to me. One of them sets up the other one to me. So that was one of my thinkings. I don't know if I'm a smart football coach or not, but I always told all the way through junior high, I always taught our kids there's three things you got to do to be able to play football. And that's get off the football, stay low, and hit somebody. If you can do those three things, you can use the ground field and represent yourself well. So, that's the way I always felt about it. And I always told our kids that. Even in, Anadarko, they'd never won a state championship.
Mm-hmm.
We won 2 up there while I was up there. So
now you've had success coaching across the board. What are some key concepts or ideas that you took with you from your time under Coach Christian and Coach Rutherford?
Well, I can tell you, I always believed in speed, and Marietta, when I went to Marietta coach, and of course when you was over at Southeastern, you saw speed a lot more than you did in high school. And people don't realize that speed kills, and you can work on your speed. That's one of the things that we did at Marietta, and I really liked some of the, we took the defense too, the 4-4, kind of a 4-3 look, and took it to Marietta too from Southeastern. So, and eye formation, when you got a great eye back like I had at Marietta, I had a low mid-cap. If you got that kind of back, you need to put him in the eye and let him run. And we did that too. And so, there was a lot of things that, everything in college is bigger, faster, so.
Right.
And so, I just learned that, speed and being quick really outweighs. So I'm a big guy on strength, but if you've got speed and quickness, those two things really, really are important. So
now sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you bounced, you made a couple of stops at the high school level, and I guess what the next question would be, you've taken the lessons you got from your coaches here at Southeastern, and then what are some of the things, on the field and off the field, that you've really tried to pass along that you think maybe got their start, either when you were playing or beyond?
Well, I really think, being prepared every game, and teaching kids that you're not going to win every ball game, but if you go out there and give everything you've got, you ain't got nothing to hang your head about. And we had to do it in Marietta. We were, when we first went to Marietta, it was pretty bad. When you're coaching at a school and you go the season and you're 4 or 5 homecomings, that tells you what kind of deal you had to fight through to get to the top, like we did at Marietta. But we were 5 homecoming games my first year at Marietta. So, and that's an incentive too. You tell your kids that they don't have to stay where they're at. They can rise up and be better. And that's to me, that's just one of the things that I was so proud of the Marietta kids. And the Arkansas kids, they never knew winning. They had probably every 10 years they'd go 6-4 or up there in the Darko, and then they went 15-0, and I don't know what all, and you could see the difference. Winning makes a difference.
It makes a difference with everybody. It changes everybody's outlook.
It does, and it makes the kids work harder and your school better. And I just you just can't say enough for winning. It's not everybody that gets there, but everybody needs to taste it sometime or other.
True, and I want to shift gears just a little bit and talk. You played under and played with some other Hall of Famers. Talk a little bit about what this means to be selected for the Hall of Fame.
Well, it means a lot to me. Of course, I wanted to, I was kind of worried about me having cancer, and that was one of the reasons they put me in. But I assured that wasn't it. But I played with Morris Sloan. I guess you know Morris. Mm-hmm. And he was a Hall of Famer, and he played offensive center for me. And I had so much fun. I tell you, college football was a lot of fun. Sometimes you were told to make a block, but you didn't make it. Morris did that a few times, and I get tickled at him. I tease him about it, especially after one of them big old defensive ends runs over you, and you got grass all in your helmet and everything. And he's sitting there on the ground looking at me, and I just couldn't help him laugh because he just, I knew he did the best he could, but sometimes you can't make that block. So, but it meant a lot to me to be, Southeastern really is the reason I'm where I'm at right now. Southeastern is they're the reason, and I owe Southeastern everything probably. I don't think I'd have probably ever amounted to anything we hadn't, played college football and got graduated down there, and I just an honor to be down there and play.
Well, as we round out this conversation, I want to give you an opportunity, and we've done a little bit of it during the call. I want to give you the opportunity to thank the people that you feel like you need the opportunity to thank for Southeastern, for getting here, to getting to this level, and for all of the on the way.
I'd like to thank all the Southeastern, Medill, Marietta, and Anadarko people for all the prayers that they've given me to help me through this cancer and get me on the way, maybe. And then, I had 3 great high school coaches, and that was the late Bob McLean and the late G.C. Willis and Blake Smalley at Medill. And then, of course, I would mention Val Renault and Richard Rutherford. Coach Rutherford's more than just a coach to me. And then Coach Christian, and they allowed me to do what I like to do, and that's run the football. And I'm so blessed for that. I'll tell you something else too. Before when I had a guy down there that was our science teacher down there. Trying to think of his name right now. That's how old this is. But if it wasn't for him, and he's a teacher, he wasn't a coach, but he was a teacher, and he got me interested in science, or I don't know. I thought I could just probably go and coach football all the time, but you didn't. Back then you didn't do that. So Dr. Hazel was his name. He was over the science department, and I always meant to thank him, but you know how that is. Sometimes it don't come around, and he passed away, and it's just one of them people that makes a difference. And I like to thank my late parents, George Hicks and Marie Hicks, for always being there for me. And my dad, he worked for the Chickasaw Choctaws for a long time, and he would be amazed at what they've done down there now at Southeastern. He really was into the Choctaw Chickasaw, helping them out. But I want to thank Southeastern for being there. Like I said, I owe Southeastern everything. So thank you.